I'll do the same intro every time, and it's new gameplay. So whatever, you know who I am. You know what I do on Saturdays. So it's week 7, and I had a terrible record last week. Week 6, I was 5-9. A lot of come from behind wins. A lot of last second. It was a crazy week. A lot of upsets, you could say, and I suffered for results. So I was 5-9 last week, the worst week I've had since starting doing this. Every week I've been over 500 in my picks, and then last week actually, went poo-poo. So yeah, Thursday night game. I predicted that wrong. Thursday night games do not like me this year. I have not done great on them. So I got to pick it up in the Sunday games to kind of pick the record up here. So let's just get right into it. First game, Cardinals, who have lost 2 straight. Lost Kevin Kolb against the Vikings, who just got blown up by the Redskins. The Vikings will win this game because Cardinals' offensive line is poo-poo. Their running game is poo-poo without Beanie Wells and Ryan Williams, so John Skelton's going to have to pass a lot. And seeing that the Vikings have a top 10 defense, that might be a little bit hard. So I'm going to go with the Vikings in this game. I don't think the Cardinals have a chance of winning this game unless that offensive line just becomes all-pro. Next game we have the Cowboys versus the Panthers. I think the Panthers are coming off a bye week. Cowboys coming off a missed field goal. They could have won the game, but it didn't. Dez had probably his best game of his career, you could say. Going against the Panthers, who have possibly now the worst passing secondary, or second to last, because Chris Campbell appears to be out for the season. John Beeson probably won't play for, I think, the 3rd straight week. The Cowboys are going to win this. They're the stronger team than the Panthers. If the good Tony Romo shows up, they win. If the bad Tony Romo shows up, they'll probably win still. I think they need to run the ball even though DeMarco Murray's out. And I think Romo's getting a little bit better because now he's getting consistency with his receivers. And it seems like Dez is finally breaking out because they're actually going to give him the ball. So I'm going to take the Cowboys in that one. Next, we have the 1-4 Saints, the surprising 1-4 Saints, with Joe Vitt returning this week, I believe, maybe next week, against the Buccaneers, 2-3 Buccaneers. Big divisional game. You might not think of it because of the records, but if the Saints win this, they pretty much go to second place in the division. The Buccaneers had the top run defense, the worst pass defense. So you're going to figure what the Saints are going to do, and the Buccaneers are without their top corner. I'm going to take the Saints in this one because, like I said, that secondary for the Buccaneers is bad. And I don't expect, the Buccaneers to stop Drew Brees. If they do, the Drew Brees must have had a bad game. So I'm going to take the Saints on there, and then they will actually jump up to second in division with this win. So it is a big game for them, and I believe they'll step up. They're starting to get a little bit better. Every week they start to get a little bit better. I think this is when they start making that little comeback type of thing and fight for that wild card. Next we have the 3-3 Packers coming off a upset win over the Texans. Might not say upset, with Aaron Rodgers throwing 6 touchdowns. I don't think he's going to replicate the game like that. If he does, then the Packers are probably not going to lose the game the rest of the season. And they're going against the surprising 33 Rams, who coming off a really close loss to the Dolphins. They could simply be 4-2 and tied for the division. I think the Packers win this because Aaron Rodgers, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions last week against the supposed good defense of the Texans. The Jonathan Joseph's banged up, Brian Cushing's banged up, so you're gonna throw a little bit more on them. But we're talking about the Packers Rams game. But I think the Packers will win it because Aaron Rodgers is warming up, and the Rams start off good in the secondary. They're just kind of starting to die down a little bit in that position. So for the Rams to win this game, I guess keep Aaron Rodgers off the field, which that offensive line isn't going to help the Rams. Next, we have the 3-3 Redskins, who kind of, they started off good, and then they kind of trickled down. Now they're back to the 500 mark in a big division game against the 4-2 Giants. I don't know how to predict this game because every time I try to predict against RG3, he happens to just have his best game. But I think the Giants win this because, well, you know what? No, because Ahmad Bradshaw might not be getting the full workload because his foot's injured. Let me think. Actually, I'm going to go with the Giants because the Redskins do have a terrible secondary. I think they have the league worst in passing defense. So I'm going to go with the Redskins in this game. I think RG3, the most accurate quarterback in the league right now, the most efficient. And his running ability going against the Giants defense is pretty banged up. The pass rush hasn't been there. I believe the Redskins win this game. And I'm going to go with the Redskins this game for an upset pick. I'm kind of struggling here because Redskins have the worst pass defense. But yet again, the Giants' defense is pretty banged up. Even though they've been showing good. I'm going to go Redskins. I think Alfred Morris have a big game. I think RG3 have a big game. That defense has got to step up and not allow Eli Manning to annihilate. But please let Victor Cruz get 4 touchdowns so I can win fantasy. Next, we have probably the game of the week. The 5-1 Ravens coming off the loss of Ray Lewis, the Darius Webb. Their defense is getting. It's not the defense you would think that would have been in the game. Ed Reed playing with a torn Abram. Holding down and playing with a torn MCL. Like all the running game people in their their main people in their passing game are injured. So I think it'll be tough for the Ravens, and I think this might be the beginning of a new era in Baltimore, and that's offense. I think Baltimore wins this game because seeing how the Texans miss Brian Cushing, I think Ray Rice is going to have a little bit of a better game if Brian Cushing was playing. So, yeah, there's that. And that secondary has been protected for the past 2 years by that pass rush. So, that secondary is going to start getting torn apart, and teams are going to realize, to play the Texans, you got to pass on them. Jonathan Joseph, yes, he's a good corner, but he's injured. And you can pick on him. He's going to, he's going to be injured all season, possibly. So, as we saw with Aaron Rodgers, he's not going to pull 6 touchdowns, but for the Ravens to win, who I think they will, they need to get the passing game going. And I believe Ray Rice will have a good game because Brian Cushing's missing. So I believe the Ravens win this one. And I just think the Texans, their secondary needs to be patched up a little bit. They're going to need to find something at middle linebacker. And Arian Foster had a bad game, and he's playing a team that he could do good against. I think he should have at least over 50 yards. If he doesn't, the Texans probably didn't win. Next, we have the 2-4 Tennessee Titans versus the 3-3 Bills. Nothing much in this game. Nothing really to talk about. I think the Bills win it because the Texans, they're just starting to come around, but then when they start, they just drop. Like their defense, I think their defense is gonna fall in this game, especially against Fred Jackson and C.J. Spiller. So I think the Bills win this game. For the Titans to win this game, they just can't turn the ball over, and their defense has got to make the plays where it counts. Like that's all they got to do. But they haven't been doing that well, and definitely need CJ2K. Well, CJ like 80 or I don't know. He needs to warm up. He needs to start going if he wants to get paid that $10 million in the offseason, which means he's probably unlikely to be a Titan next year. If he can't start picking it up, and he better pick it up because I'm in fantasy. Next, we have the 1-5 Browns finally getting their first win against the 2-3 Colts. Browns coming off an upset win against the Bengals. It was in a close game for a while. The Bengals kind of blew it. Joe Hayden. The Browns show they can play. Like I've been saying the past couple weeks, the Browns are a team you do not want to play right now because they will fight to the end, and they've showed that all season. And then they're going against the Colts, who lost to the Jets in a blowout. The Colts, I don't think they have Donald Brown. The Browns are starting to get a little bit more healthier. I'm going to take the Colts on this one because I feel Andrew Luck will kind of just be like, you know what? I had a terrible game last week. I got to step it up. And I think Vic Ballard, the running back that's starting over Donald Brown because Donald Brown's injured, I think he'll have a good game. The Colts are heavily relying on rookies. And also, fun fact, when Reggie Wynn plays in a slot, which he does a lot, he'll be covered by a rookie corner. So, that's an interesting matchup there. I think the Colts win it. It's going to be a close game. I won't be surprised if the Browns win it. Really wouldn't. Next, we have the 3-3 Jets. A very surprised 3-3 Jets against the 3-3 Patriots. Big divisional game here. I didn't say this earlier, but every team in the division is tied. Dolphins are on a bye week, though, so they might be the odd man out in this one. But the Jets, been very impressive after all these injuries. I'm not going to lie, always been down in them this season. They've been impressive, even though they've lost both games. Well, no, they won last week. Even though they were closer than the Texans, Cromartie's stepping up. I think the Jets are on. They could be a wild card team. Still, I mean, I kind of doubt them after those injuries. Like, nope. But for the Jets to win any more games, that defense needs to play like they played last week. They need to cause turnovers, get Sanchez in range to score. Sean Green needs to step up, which he did last week, but against a terrible run defense, so kind of a little bit of a fault there. But their defense is their offense, pretty much you could say, because in that last week's game, the Bills game, their defense caused a lot of turnovers and got them in scoring position. That's what the Jets need to do, and that's what the Jets have. That's what the Jets have always done, but they need to rely on it more this year. But the Patriots win this game. Aaron Hernandez is back. That offense is just going to get better. The running game, it's there. I think the running game is helping that offense. And they just lost to the Seahawks by 1 point. They're not happy about it. I think coming in against the Jets, they'll be motivated, and I think they will beat them. It just depends how the Jets' defense plays, but they're playing Tom Brady, so. Next, we have probably the stinker game of the week, the 1-4 Jaguars versus the 1-4 Rams. Both must-win games. I'm going to go with the Raiders on this one. I think if there's a game that Darren McFadden breaks out, it'd be this game. I play him in fantasy. I don't want him to break out, but I believe he will. They had the bye week to fix their running game woes, and they're going against the Jaguars. Their run defense is pretty bad. They're missing their top linebacker. I think a lot of their defense is banged up. They just benched a whole bunch of people on their defensive line. The Jaguars are a mess. If Blaine Gabbert could be the Blaine Gabbert from the preseason this game, they instantly win it because the Raiders' defense is terrible. Like, their top corners were people who went on the team last year. And the corners they signed, the hope we missed for Sanford Route and Nnamdi, they're injured. They're out for, I think, a couple more weeks. I think one of them actually returned this week, though. So I think the Raiders win this game. Next, we have the 2-3 Bengals versus the 3-3, not the 2-3 Steelers versus the 3-3 Bengals. Got to hurry it up here a little bit. Steelers offensive line missing 2 starters. Bengals have a really good offensive line. I want to say the Bengals won this game. They just lost to the Browns. I think injuries are killing the Steelers right now. I think if the Bengals want to sneak away with the game, it would be now against the Steelers, a divisional opponent. I think that defensive line is going to be too much for that offensive line. And they're going to be missing Troy, I believe. That's all, but he's a big thing, and especially with A.J. Green there. You definitely have to. Definitely need him. And then Monday night game, I think the Lions win. I think the Bears' offensive line is bad, the worst in the league, and they just released Chris Williams, probably their best one, who was a backup. But I think the Lions win it because if their defensive line has been quiet this year, and if there's a game they need to break out and need to play well, it's against the Bears. And if that defensive line doesn't show up, the Bears win. That's how Bears win the game, is if they can protect the quarterback, but they can't. And when they do, they win. So that's my week 7 predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you Monday with a video of Walking Dead. Always remember, I got a little schedule planned out for you if you haven't seen the past couple of weeks. All my links are below, Twitter, subscribe button, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you next time.